Hey, Digital Associate Haley Smith here. Last Friday, I stopped by the Welcome Social for the Texas Young Democrats and Texas College Democrats joint convention here in Austin. There were drinks, good conversation, and actually some pretty good karaoke. I also got the chance to chat with a mix of old friends and new faces, and I made sure to grab the best parts for y'all. Here's what they had to say. Hi, tell me who you are and tell me what you do.
My name is Sam Jane. I am the treasurer for the Young Democrats of America.
Hey, awesome. What kind of future do you see for the progressive movement?
Yeah, so as someone who is a part of I'm a leader for the largest partisan youth organization in America. We have 30,000 members, and that's why we're here for Texas, is to grow the membership and celebrate them. We are at a unique moment. We always show up for campaigns, and of course, when it came to the election last year, that we were very disappointed, and now we are fighting back. We're seeing huge things happening in New York, but we really want to make sure that things are happening here too, and celebrating all the wins that Texas can do. And so for me, we are the voice, we're the people that be counted on, and I hope that people will include us.
Yeah, awesome. And what would you say to young folks like us who don't really think politics matters?
I can absolutely understand anyone who has hesitation about party politics, but it really is things like the Young Democrats of America, Texas Young Democrats. This is a place to meet people your age, your areas, your interests, and you can really make a change. My first ever introduction into doing progressive politics was at TCU, where I was a student. I got involved with the College Democrats to help Wendy Davis when she was running for governor, and that really set me off for the rest of my life or my career, what I do now. I mean, Wendy Davis, I now do reproductive justice. That's the things that I'm doing, and so that is really what I say is, like, when we talk about getting involved, these are very wonderful people, ways to get involved that can set you up for both your professional and your personal.
Awesome. All right, tell me who you are and tell me what you do.
Hi, I'm Anthony Rios. I am the Gulf Regional Director of Texas Young Democrats, and I work on political campaigns.
Awesome. And what are we doing here today?
Well, I'm just attending the Texas Young Democrats Convention, and we're just here bringing Texas Young Democrats and also college Democrats from all over the state together to talk about the issues that are facing Texas and to help us get organized so we can turn the Democratic Party into the progressive organization we know it can be.
That's right. And what do you see for the future of the progressive movement?
Nothing but wins. I see nothing but wins in our future. I think, I really like what State Senator Mamdani said the other day. The time of moral victories is over. It's time for real victories. And I think we have a lot of real victories in our future. I think that is the progressive movement, I think, only is going up from here. I think what we saw in the election in New York was that AOC, Bernie Sanders, those are the real leaders of the Democratic Party now. And we just need to make sure that we punish incumbents who don't follow the values that we always knew that the party needed to stand up for. And so I think that what we have to look forward to is the primaries that are coming up in the midterms, and then the presidential primary that's coming up before 28. And I think that I see progressives making gains everywhere. I think the moderates within the party are fractured. I think you can see with the Cuomo campaign how weak they are. They poured $30 million into that campaign. They outspent their opponent 20-1. And normally, under any political circumstances that I've ever seen in my life, that would result in a wipeout. The fact that it didn't means that their message is just not selling. People don't like what they are saying. And I think that makes sense based on what we saw with Joe Biden, based on what we saw with Kamala Harris, based on what we saw with the Democratic Party in the last couple of years. They hid Joe Biden's decline from us, and that cost us the presidential election. So I think people are ready to move on, and like I said, I think nothing but wins for the progressive movement.
Damn right. All right. And what would you say to young folks like us who maybe think that politics just doesn't matter?
Well, what I would say, and this is going to sound crazy, but if you can get 50 of your friends or 30 of your friends together in your city, you are part of one of the most powerful grassroots organizations in that city. America has become so dominated by these corporations and these powerful interests that the politicians in a lot of places are completely disconnected from the politics. They have no grassroots, right? So if you just, as a young person, you have immense power. As a young person who believes in things, if you can get together and energize the grassroots, then you can win victories that these people wouldn't imagine. And so I just think don't look at what happened in New York. Look at what's happening all over the country. Progressives are winning everywhere. I was working on a campaign, a slate of candidates, where we won a school board race in Pasadena, which is a very, very conservative-leaning area. It actually voted for Trump for the first time ever this last presidential election, and it's an oil refinery town. And it voted overwhelmingly against the MAGA-backed candidates in favor of DSA-aligned candidates. And that is because We know that Trump is bad for the economy and bad for people's livelihoods, and we keep saying that, and if we keep saying that, I think that progressives will see the victories that we want to see against the Republicans and against the moderate Democrats and conservative Democrats who still aren't on board. But I think, honestly, politicians, they want to win elections, a lot of them. So I think a lot of people, when they see where the wind is blowing, are going to get on board. I remember I first got into politics back in was it really that long ago? 2016. And in 2016, right, there was you saw a lot of moderate candidates like Kamala Harris actually take on board progressive positions because they wanted to steal Bernie's vote. So that's what you'll see again. And you saw that with Biden, too. Biden took on some of Bernie's policies. Not enough, but some. And so as we move the party further left, the whole party will move further left. We will see a transformation over the next couple years of the Democratic Party to be the party of AOC. The leadership are the ones who doesn't have the support of the Democratic voters, not us. The progressives have the support.
Tell me who you are and tell me what you do.
I'm Joella Mathola. Right now I'm running for Vice President of Texas Young Dems, and I'm from Bexar County.
I'm Joseph Castillo. I am a teacher from El Paso, Texas, and I'm a member of the Young Democrats in El Paso County.
Okay, awesome. And where do y'all see the future of the progressive movement going?
Kind of right now with politics, I see a bright future for progressive politics. I know right now it may seem kind of dark, but I think people are starting to wake up and really see the dire need that our country is in, and they're going to start moving in the right direction. However, it is up to us to make sure that we are organizing and herding people into that correct direction.
Yeah, and the big important thing for Democrats right now, it's good to push for progressive policies within the party and within our primary system, but really at the end of the day, we do have to come together as a party, and whoever we choose as our candidate, we have to get behind them 100%. We cannot, even if we don't agree with them 100% on all their policies, the big thing I see with Democrats is that if our candidates in the primaries don't win, then people lose interest. But that's a mentality that we have to kill from our party. We have to be fully united behind who is the pick from within our process for selecting candidates.
It's important that we're involved, and if we're not involved, then people in politics are not going to be listening to issues that affect us. They already have houses, they're already out there in the market, and we don't. So we need to make sure that we're voicing our opinions that we're not able to survive right now.
And it's another thing to understand is that, especially for young people, especially because I'm a teacher also, so this is how my students are. It's really easy in the online landscape that young people populate to get totally fully immersed in national level or international politics. Getting involved locally is going to be the thing that you're going to see the most effort being, the most change at an individual level. I think young people seek to impact.
Progress Texas podcasting director Chris Mosier here. Independent, public, fact-based media is under direct attack by the Trump administration and congressional Republicans. Why? Because we dare to speak truth to power. We don't fire our staff members for expressing their own views. We don't shy away from what's really happening out of fear. As we all know, information is power, and once the truth is silenced, we're all powerless. Progress Texas relies on funding from our listeners and viewers to keep shining a light on the truth in Texas. If you've come to rely on Progress Texas, please support us. We don't do subscriptions or paywalls because the media we produce is important for everyone to be able to see and hear, but it can't continue without you. Please become a regular, sustaining monthly supporter of Progress Texas right now at progresstexas.org/donate.
Tell me who you are and tell me what you do.
Yeah, so my name's Chloe Wilkinson. I am a legislative and campaign staffer in the state of Texas, and I'm running for Texas Young Dems secretary.
Okay, awesome. And where do you see the future of the progressive movement? Where do you see the progressive movement headed?
Well, I think that the lessons that we need to take away, especially because we just had a race, halfway across the country, where the candidate who won because he addressed affordability issues first. As someone who's lived in Austin for 4 years now, the number one issue that I see that has worked and is continuing to work is housing affordability, is childcare affordability, and I think that that's what the center of our party and our movement needs to be about, is about affordability. It's how we win young men back, and it's how we win this country back.
Awesome. And what would you say to young folks like you and me who think that politics just doesn't matter?
Well, I think that politics does matter, but it can often feel pretty divisive, especially when we focus on the national level. For me, I've always considered myself someone who likes to focus on local and on state politics first. I've found that there's more to get done, and there's a willingness to work together more often. Once again, it is only in Texas cities like Austin and Dallas where we can actually address affordability issues first, or in Houston where they are addressing getting homeless people off of the street faster than anywhere else in the country, where they've become a national model. We often get very sad about what the national level has to offer for us.
Yeah, that's so true. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Tell me who you are and tell me what you do.
My name is Ernesto, and I'm a jeweler.
And what are we doing here today?
Today I'm with the El Paso Young Democrats of El Paso, and we're just here trying to socialize, and we're trying to see what we can get done for the state of Texas. And I believe we're also having the Young Democrats of America here. So hopefully we'll be able to build a strong network to go ahead and be able to make something happen at the national level to get young voters engaged.
Awesome. Where do you see the future of the progressive movement? Like, where do you see the progressive movement headed?
Well, hopefully more in offices and less just talking online. So hopefully what we have done in El Paso, hopefully we can be able to go ahead and train others, and maybe others can go ahead and share with us also what they have done that's been successful and getting done what should hopefully be something that gets more people elected and not just talking about it.
What would you say to young people who maybe think that politics just doesn't matter?
Well, you're living it every single day. Every single day, where you live, what you eat, how much money you make, all of that's related with your local taxes, your local council, your state, at the state level, everything you do. The food you eat, whether or not how many hormones it's being allowed to have, what kind of chemical bathings it has, where you're allowed to live in an apartment when it comes to zoning laws, as well as how much money you're allowed to make in certain industries. That is limited oftentimes by local governments and state governments. So if we're able to say that politics does not matter, it's just really shooting yourself in the foot in the long run.
Tell me who you are and tell me what you do.
Hi, I'm CJ Satina. I'm running to be the regional director for Central Texas of Texas Young Democrats. I'm also the treasurer for Hays County Young Democrats, and I'm actually the youngest precinct chair in Hays County as well.
Woohoo! What are we doing here today?
I'm here just chatting up with my fellow Texas Young Democrats and college Democrats, getting to mingle with people, at least bringing awareness to my candidacy for Central Texas. I definitely want to listen to the concerns of those in Central Texas. I know what it's like starting a chapter of Texas Young Democrats, building up from the ground up, and just having a great time. And good to see my friend Haley here.
Nice to see you too, CJ. Where do you think Democrats have the biggest room for opportunity coming up?
Honestly, and we saw this last year, the biggest gains among Donald Trump were young people and also Latino men, which is somebody like me. Mm-hmm. If you were to look at elections 6 years ago, young Latino men will be heavily Democrat. Mm-hmm. But we need to work on winning back young voters and also Latino men. If we ever want to win Texas, future elections, we need to win this coalition back. I think we've had the mistake of treating young people and Latino voters as monolithics. I think a good case study is to look at New York's election on Tuesday. We had a candidate who was always having a smile on his face. He ran on popular issues such as freezing rent and also taxing stuff like the rich and improving universal child care, which I believe are very popular issues, especially with those our age. And look what happened. It turned out people who haven't voted. I was seeing on the news hasn't turned out people who haven't voted since 2012, which is amazing. We definitely need that coalition, especially here in Texas. If we want to win back the Senate, we need to win back Texas. If we want to flip the governor's office to prevent all the right-wing attacks from Greg Abbott, we're going to need to win the governor's mansion as well.
So true. And lastly, what kind of future do you see for the progressive movement?
I see one of new leaders, folks like me and you, folks that are coming to this convention. The future of the party is young people. Whether our older generations accept it or not, we're the future. I feel very positive about the future. I mean, I am a grassroots organizer, and as an organizer, I always look forward to building up the organizing movement and the grassroots movement just for future generations.
Awesome. Thank you.
Of course.
All right.